Your software is making all of our computers beep. How do we make it stop? We received a support ticket from a customer who stated that our software was causing all of their computers to beep and they needed to know what to do to make it stop. We went back and forth a few times with them trying to diagnose things via the support ticket system, but nothing made sense. Our software only produces a sound when an error or alert appears, and you'd only hear it if you had a sound card and speakers. We decide it's time to call them, so I get on the phone. I give them a call and sure enough, you can hear loud beeping. It sounds familiar, but I can't quite identify it, so I start asking basic troubleshooting questions. They tell me there's no speakers and that the computers have never made sound before, so just to be sure I ask them to look at the back of the computer and see if there is a sound card and if anything plugged into it. Well, this is where I finally get my answer. She tells me that she can't see behind the computer because the power is out and it's really dark. That's when that familiar sound finally makes sense. Their UPSs were beeping at them. What the heck? We're almost 30 minutes into this from the first support ticket, and this is the first time I'm hearing that the power is out. How did they not think this was important information to share? I never even thought to ask because I just assume it's something you share right away. When I told her what I thought was making the sound, she laughed and admitted to me that she felt really dumb. I had her shut down all the workstations until they could get their power sorted out. Just delete the outlier. I have deleted the entire system. What? LTL, FTP op, Dwayne The Rock Johnson Ing, new guy to keep it safe. I will be changing a few things regarding this story, as the system that will be talked about in this is fairly sensitive. I am glorified tech support for a multi-billion-dollar system run by the government. For simple issues they call my cell phone after hours, but for more in-depth questions I can contact the next tier of support to figure things out. Usually I get a few calls a week that last anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour, but on the whole nothing serious. One day after I get home from the office I get a call from one of the guys on Skeleton Crew. Ing, we got a problem with the graph that displays redacted, and it's giving us some trouble. Any ideas? After about 30 seconds it's obvious there was a bad data point that was throwing off the auto-generated limits of the graph, a simple fix. It should be noted at this time that usually the guys running the system are trained to know how to fix this stuff, but if they are new to the job, like in this case, they are afraid of breaking anything, so at the first sign of a problem they call us for hand-holding. I'm not against this policy, but if I get calls from the same person after a few months I start to take notice. The person in question had been there for a few weeks, so he didn't know for sure what to do, so I helped him. Op, it's easy, just exclude the bad data point and we'll be back on track. I'll stay on the line as you do it. Ing, understood. 3 minutes go by in silence. Then, I hear words I did not expect to hear. Ing, it's still going on. Are you sure this was the right fix? Op, it was for the last 5 times I did it. Walk me through what you did. He tells me what he did and it all sounds correct until the last step. Ing, then I got all the points outside the normal range and excluded them. Op, wait, all the points? I thought it was just one, how many are there? Ing, 20,000 op, what? Ing, I excluded 20,000 points. I don't see the graph anymore. Op, that's because you just told the system to disregard all data for the last 2 weeks. Ing, silence is that bad? Op, well it ain't great. I'll be there in an hour. I wasn't well versed on this particular subsystem to know the extent of the damage, but eventually I get the expert on this particular subsystem up to speed on the issue and we head in at 8 p.m, well after closing time for us day shift workers. We get to the new guy and he shows us what he did. The expert asks to take control and 10 seconds and 3 mouse clicks later everything is back to normal. Turns out the new guy didn't set parameters for the exclusion and just deleted everything, but there is a backup for this exact scenario. The expert was super chill about the whole thing and chalked it up to a learning experience. Bought him coffee the next day, dude earned it. Sometimes words reappear where you don't expect it. Back when we still had humans watching monitoring rather than automated processes, I got a call at 0:100 from the operator that went something like this: I've got a critical alert for $server, is that one for you? Yeah, I'll have a look. Yawn. I don't remember what the specific issue or resolution was, other than probably something had hung and I probably reset it from VMware. After I'd checked it was all working, I did the courtesy update via SFB, smell like acre. I kicked the server in the nuts, and it seems to be working now. Operator, okay, thanks. And then I went back to ZZZ land. Later that day, in a moment of boredom I looked at the morning's ops report. In the entry for the call-out in question, upon looking across to the operator comments column I found, smell like acre kicked the server in the nuts, and it's working now. Your software's security flaws cost us thousands of dollars. This customer used one of our software packages and when they added another workstation, they chose to do it themselves and rather than deal with an IT professional, they shared out C on each computer to everyone. By the way, they were using very old all-in-one touchscreen machines running Windows 98. Summer comes along and they decide to offer free internet to their guests via Wi-Fi, and so they put an unsecured access point in a common area and attach that access point to their network. That same network isn't in the least bit secure. Shortly after this we get a call wanting us to figure out why their software has stopped working. They are a pretty close drive for one of our employees, so they head on over the next morning and discover that not only is our software missing, but so is nearly everything else. In the root of C, there's a new readme.txt and it explains that the person who did this was just driving by looking for unsecured Wi-Fi and wanted to teach them a lesson. The owner of this business had a lawyer send us a really nasty letter explaining how we were negligent in allowing our software to operate like this and that we were responsible for the costs of having an IT professional recover this data and for loss of business. We sent the lawyer back support ticket notes and emails showing that the customer chose to install on their own and also that we had provided installation instructions that clearly state how important data security is and to never do the things they did. We also recommended the lawyer contact an IT professional and get their opinion on giving guests unrestricted access to an unsecured network of outdated computers running operating systems that had reached their end of life years prior. We never heard back from the lawyer, but the business owner called us to have us do the software install on all new, up-to-date computers. He had also hired an IT professional to oversee things. That was an expensive lesson for him. Green is a bad sign in a printer, so today I am called to help my neighbor, as her little Canon all-singing all-dancing ink-devouring printer is not working. Go there, do the usual checks, paper in printer, there is ink, it is turned on and plugged in, then go do the test page. Printer does the usual, spray half the cartridge into the foam, paper feeder tries to pick up a page, and whirs, then stops, paper jam. Pull paper out, look inside, and nothing really obvious. Clean rollers inside the machine, try again. Paper goes down, then stops, and there is a green line in a sensor window. Green line should not be there, so look a bit, tilt the machine and it does move a little. Paper out, turn upside down and, holding all the loose parts, shake it, and still green line. Try to push back, using a sheet from the front, and the thing actually pulls the paper in, sensing it, and tries to bring the heads over, so a bit of cursing, and try again, pushing the green line towards the back. Do the pick up, hold the bits and shake, with the paper feed pointing down. No result, so harder shake, and there is a plink on the floor. One slightly mangled green-coated paper clip is out. Place back on its place, put the paper in, and wait, and it finally recognizes there is a printer there, and it is ready. Black is low, new cartridge 2 weeks ago, and prints the head test page. Few bad dots in the color, but not a worry, as it now prints. I prefer laser. My Mono one is now finally on its first replacement cartridge, after 3 years of use, and it was cheaper than the pair of inkjet cartridges. If I really need color I can drive 2 kilometers to the store where they will print the pages for me right there and then, and it is cheaper than the cost of the printer, considering I do it every 2 years or so. Last one was on canvas. Tech-savvy parents, usually. Firstly, let me start by explaining my parents are pretty tech-savvy. They understand the concepts of CPU/RAM/HDD, know to keep things up to date, ignore foreign princes and calls from Microsoft, find the right download button, etc. So usually when they call it's something more serious. But sometimes even savvy people make mistakes. ## story 1. So I get a call from my mom one sunny day. For context, we're in the UK, and usually internet is via the phone line unless you have cable. Mum, hey, our internet is down. Me, okay, let's check through the basics. I check with Mom that they've run through the restarting things, checking connections, and as I expected they had. Me, home, let's check what the router says. Hit 192.168.0.1 and log in. Me directs her to router status page. This was many years ago with a DG834, so it's got some logging, but a bit vague. Mum, LCP is not allowed to come up, or something along those lines. I forget. Me, well, that's pretty vague. Let's just check the RJ11 cable and microfilter. Dad just goes and replaces both as they have them spare. Mum, still nothing. Same thing in the status window. Me, let me double check the $telco status page. Nothing at $telco is up for your area. I'll come over and have a look. I'll bring a spare modem /router. $telco loves to threaten charges for engineer visits for end user issues. I arrive. Hellos /hugs etc. I notice her mobile on the side table, and have a horrible dawning realization. Me, please tell me you checked the landline phone. Mum gets a concerned look as I move to pick up the phone. My expression says it all. Phone dial tone, silence. The room, silent disbelief. Crickets, chirping away. A group facepalm follows. It probably should have occurred to me during diagnosis, but sometimes obvious things slip by. I didn't realize they'd called from Mom's mobile. They had free minutes on the mobiles and not on the landline anymore. Me, yeah, your phone line is dead. Mum, I'll call $telco. ## story 2. My parents had agreed to do some digitizing old photos and negatives for some family friends. They have a nice high-end Epson scanner with all the bells and whistles, from about 10 years ago. I get a call from Mum. We usually use speakerphone to chat to people in each room. Mum, hey, we just got the photo scanner back out, and it's not working. No lights on at all. I direct them to check it over for any obvious signs of damage or moisture ingress. It's been in storage for a while. Nothing obvious wrong. Me, okay, do you guys have a multimeter about? For testing voltages. This scanner uses a separate inline transformer. Mum, a multi-watt. Okay, I expected that. Dad, I think I've got one of those in the shed. I expected that also. Dad goes and returns with multimeter. Me, test the output of the adapter with it plugged in the wall, carefully, not knowing what damage may have been done. Dad, looks like 0. Me, 0 what? Is it set to volts? Turns out this multimeter is also ancient, of questionable provenance, and the display obscure. I'm unconvinced the multimeter is providing useful readings. Me, I'll come over with my multimeter just to check, before you spend money on a replacement transformer. Me goes over and checks, verifies it's dead as a dodo. They get a replacement from eBay, as it's a generic Epson inline transformer. All good. ######. 1 week later, Mum, so. The scanner is dead. Me, what? Really? After you got it working with the new transformer? Mum, yeah, no lights, nobody is home. I start a mental inventory of the tools I'll need to take it apart. Me, tried unplugging and replugging etc. Mum, yup, I can hear her do it again right there. Both power and USB. Me, okay, I'll come on over and take a look at it, but no guarantees I'll get it working. I head over and take a look. I start by double checking the cheapo eBay inline transformer. It's providing a nice stable voltage. Plug it all back in and nothing. I unpack screwdrivers, multimeter etc. ready to take it apart and diagnose. Then I notice the power switch on the scanner is off. Me, please tell me you turned the scanner on when you tried to use it. Both parents immediately turn completely and entirely red. Me immediately starts laughing so hard my sides hurt, and I can't breathe long enough to talk. To say I nearly wet myself laughing at their expense is an understatement. They used to, and still do, turn it on /offers and when they use it and finish using it, but to miss such a dumb step this time really embarrassed them. We all had a big laugh out of that one. Cheers for reading.